That's good.
Ha ha ha. Well,
Ha.
good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast. This is episode number 148. I am your host, Peter Nicolaitis, and joining me as always is my co-host, Adam Bell.
How you doing, Peter? It's good to be here.
It is good to be here. I am feeling well. More and more people are getting fully vaccinated. I mountain biked a downhill Killington, Vermont this past weekend on Sunday. My stock portfolio was at an all-time high this week on COVID rebound, and I'm really busy with work, but it's a good kind of busy. How
Yeah,
about you?
I would. I'm in a lot of the same situation. I've been health-wise doing well with going to the gym on a regular basis, and it's funny how going 5 days a week, you ought to be more tired because you're exerting yourself more and longer. Yet I have more energy.
You're
It
getting
doesn't
stronger.
get strong. It doesn't make any sense, but
Makes perfect sense. You're getting stronger and more efficient. Yep.
and then my stock portfolio is also up, but I have a feeling it's temporary. I think I think it's temporary.
I don't, it's hard to say. I mean, I have a fairly balanced portfolio, but 10% of my portfolio is just Amazon right now, Amazon stocks. So that's, that and a small percentage, much less than 10, is Tesla. And that's the most volatile portion of my stock because
Yeah.
Elon, oh, freaking Elon.
Is he an
Ugh,
American citizen?
pretty sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, because he's Danish or something. Not Danish. He's from the
South
uh
African?
I thought it was Netherlands area.
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we
All
should
right.
maybe we
Wait.
should fact check this.
We should fact check my Elon Musk.
Alexa, where was Elon Musk born?
He
She doesn't know
was
apparently.
Musk was born to a Canadian mother and a South African father and raised in Pretoria, South Africa. So
Huh.
he was born in South Africa. So you're right on that.
But
Went to California in '95. But is he? I guess he's well, because the reason I said I saw a news article that said, you know, these millionaires that aren't paying any taxes last year, and it was a picture of him, and I'm like, what, is he even a U.S. citizen? If he's not, he wouldn't be paid. Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, he would though.
his
Even
corporations.
if you're not an American though, and you're here and you're working and stuff here, you still have to pay taxes. If you're
Oh,
making
okay.
money here, the IRS definitely wants their cut. No
Yeah,
question about that.
yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, a little tax knowledge there that we weren't planning on at all.
Adam and I are not certified public accountants, and we don't play them on the internet. Oh goodness. So yeah. So let's start off with health update and stuff. So you mentioned that I took the most of the week off from running,
Mm-hmm.
mostly because it was a heat wave. Now,
Mm-hmm.
my former roommate slash running coach, Charlie, used to tell me take 1 week off every month.
Mm-hmm.
So he would do that. It would be a rest week. So you're not getting anything that considered exertion. You can go out for a very light jog, but it's got to be super easy,
Mm-hmm.
recovery runs. Just enough to get the blood pumping, but not in your like aerobic, cardio zones. So I did that a couple times, but I didn't really like it because it felt like every time after I took a week off and I came back, I felt horrible it felt like it took me days to recover from my recovery week.
Right.
So I stopped doing it. But this week I figured, you know what? I'm overdue for one of these, so I'm going to. And it had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that the temperature was over 90 degrees for days in a row. Okay, it had everything to do with that.
Yeah.
So, like even on 1 or 2 days, I went out in the morning before the temperature got terrible, and it was still work. And on Saturday, when I was up in Vermont visiting my parents, I did a 10K loop around where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
That was work because Vermont, not nearly as flat as Boston area, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of hills up there, and
Yeah.
so that was interesting. That was my first, what I would consider cross country hilly type, run,
Mm-hmm.
and it was interesting. Like some literal walk down memory lane. Like the house where I grew up, and then the house that I had owned for several years also afterwards where I lived, and so it was kind of fun. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was work, like big steep hills, like wow. But anyway, as a result, when I came home and then after mountain biking Killington on Sunday, I was like, yeah, I can take a couple days off. So I
Mm-hmm.
did, and went out yesterday, did a just under 6 miles of a trail run with my friend Greg, who's my new running buddy. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was good. It was good to get out. I felt fine the whole time. He said he was working, but he had been taking some time off due to a minor injury also.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so back in the swing of things. But in general, like I think the biggest reason I don't want to take like long stretches of days off from something is it's so easy to fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
It's so easy to
It's
like just lose
behavior.
the momentum. And I'm a little concerned right now too because one of my private yoga students, it's a couple, husband and wife, and I've been teaching them 2 days a week now for several months,
Mm-hmm.
twice a week doing private lessons. I am going to be out of town next week on one of the days, and then they're taking one of their daughters on a road trip touring colleges uh,
Mm-hmm.
for the next 2 weeks after that. So they're going to be without, classes for like 2.5, 3 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm, a little concerned. Hopefully it'll be like, oh my goodness, especially after like, sitting in car for hours at a time, days
Yeah.
on end, that, they'll come back and like, oh, I really need this. But there's always, the option of like, well, we didn't do it for a while. Psychologically, you start to say,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to do that. I don't need to go to the gym. Why do I need to work out? I
Yeah.
don't need to meditate anymore.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. People who are successful in the gym decide it's a lifestyle, not
Exactly.
something to do.
Yep.
And
Yep.
once you decide, well, this is just my lifestyle. This is how I do things. This is uh, whatever it is. When you decide, you're going to be a lot more successful, and you'll continue doing it.
Yep. Exactly. It's just, this is what I do. you
Hmm.
know yep, yeah, totally. And that applies to health, it applies to habits, it applies to work habits, it applies to diet, you know all kinds of things.
It's pretty deep. I mean, like if you decide
Yeah,
I'm a good husband, I'll be a good husband.
that's what I do.
Yeah, that's who I
that's
am. That's
that's
what
what
I
you
do.
do.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Oh, brother. So yeah, but I mean, it is really easy to slip up. Like, I admit that I allow the woman that I'm dating to influence my diet a lot. That generally happens when I'm, in a relationship. Her
Hmm.
diet tends to bleed over into mine. So if, with someone who's generally eating healthier than I am, wonderful. If not, it's fun. but,
Well,
I have
isn't
to
she
work.
a vegan?
The lady I'm currently with is a vegetarian,
Vegetarian. Okay.
but
Well.
she can drink me under the table. so so yes. So anyway, she just got a new Tesla. She got a Model Y.
Ah,
It's nice,
yeah.
Of course, I paid, the extra bucks for the Model S
Hmm.
sedan from 2017. I would be completely happy with one of their little crossover, type
Hmm.
of things like she got, especially with the little technology upgrades that have come along since then, like USB-C adapters, wireless charging for your phones,
Hmm.
The screen size is the same, but of course now all of them have the horizontal screen, whereas
Yeah.
the Model S has the vertical. Her car has way significantly better battery range than mine. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of props. Now it's 4 years newer,
Mm-hmm.
than mine now. I've had mine for a while.
So what do
But
you mean by a crossover?
it's like a mini SUV.
Okay.
I didn't use the word hybrid because it's not, but like Subaru's version, it's called the Crosstrek.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a mini, it's not a sedan, it's not a hatchback, it's kind of like a little station wagon
Okay.
with potential off-roading capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing. So if you think like micro SUV, that's those things there.
Cool.
So yeah, but it's a nifty looking little car. I mean, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty slick. But I'm still loving my Model S.
Mm-hmm.
Really not really
So
loving the company that much, and certainly not loving the CEO, but loving the car.
so have you had any reason to try to rent a car lately?
No, no, I have not.
Well, rental car prices are at least one third more than they were before. Because what happened during COVID, the rental car business went to really low numbers. So
Mm-hmm.
the rental car companies sold off inventory. I mean, they moved them to sales, and so they got them off the books. Now everything's opening up, and everybody needs a rental car. They don't have inventory, so you can't do the rental car companies never liked one way rentals where
Sure.
you pick up the car in Phoenix and drive it to Las Vegas and leave it there. They didn't like that. But I mean, that's why we rent cars. I
Yeah,
mean, you may not like it, but that's why you're in
I
business
was just
for
gonna
for
say
my needs
that's
like
your
this.
business.
Yeah.
It's,
So you can just get over it. I mean, I'm not asking you to do it for free. I'm paying you for this inconvenience. Yeah, I mean that's yeah. So, but the price now is extremely stupid. We're renting a car for, I think it's like 9 days when we go on our family vacation, and we were just getting, you know, a mid-size SUV, and a mid-size SUV in my mind is a Ford Explorer. No, no, no. Not in the rental car business.
uh-uh.
It's a Ford Edge, which is a sedanish, SUV.
And that's more like like a crossover type of thing, like a
Yeah.
micro SUV, as I like to call
Yeah, and then you say, I want a large SUV. I'm thinking Ford Expedition, full size truck,
them. Mm-hmm.
4 rows of, it's practically a bus on
Yeah.
wheels. No, no, no. That's the Ford Explorer.
So what would an Expedition be?
A semi truck. I want to rent a semi truck. Okay, we've got the Ford Expedition that will meet your needs. No, no,
That's funny too, because that's one of the things that I wage a battle against at the hospital where I'm doing security operations
no.
is
Hmm.
the culture. And I think it's healthcare in general. It's not just this place, because I've had
Hmm.
multiple healthcare clients and they've always done this. The name of something gets set, and then that becomes its name forever, even when it is no longer the same thing.
Hmm.
For example, I used to provide services for an ENT practice, ear, nose, and throat
Hmm.
practice. They referred to this system called Breen. This is the Breen system, or the Breen server.
Right.
Breen was the name of, if I recall correctly, a company that provided technical support for the application that ran on this machine.
Yeah.
So there's the Breen server, and then there was also the Paradigm server. That was the
Uh-huh.
server that we maintained for them.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't our server. This was not a managed service. They bought it, they owned it, they licensed it. We just took care of it from time to time. That's the
Mm-hmm.
Paradigm server.
Yeah.
So we just got an email yesterday from one of the applications teams at the hospital, and it's like RL RLS5, known at this organization as Owls.
Owls. Yeah.
So it was like RLS5, known as OWLS. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
how does that happen? How do you know? And things like, I can see it now too. It's like I've been lobbying for them, or I had earlier on. I don't care anymore. I led a project to try to roll out CyberArk for privileged account management there.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted them to call the database, like PAM or Password Vault or something like that, the host name, not call it CyberArk. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know what's going to happen is, like, in a year or so, they're going to get sick of CyberArk. They're going to throw it away. They're going to switch to Thycotic Secret Server, and they'll still be calling it CyberArk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They
anyway,
they call me tater salad.
there you go. They call me that. I said that. Not very loud, but I said it. Speaking of Ron White, a couple years ago, I saw him live right
Mm-hmm.
here in Medford, right down the
Mm-hmm.
street from my house. And I have tickets to see Buddy Guy there.
Didn't you
Uh,
have them last year? Was it?
it
Yeah, they
was
got
last year.
okay.
Now I saw Buddy Guy back in 2018, 19, I forgot, 2019, I believe. And then I bought tickets, but that was up in Beverly, Massachusetts, about a half-hour drive. Then I heard, oh, he's coming to Medford. Great, I'll, no brainer. Love his music, loves he's hilarious. Let's, it'll be fun. Great, buy the tickets. COVID, boom.
Mm-hmm.
April 2020 show punted out to, I forget. I think it went from April. I don't remember if it stopped in July. I think it went straight out to like September.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got punted to April 2021, and then it was July 2021. Now it's November.
Nice.
So anyway, but I still got my tickets. So Buddy Guy will be coming along in that same theater. But
Are you
again,
talking about Buddy Guy, the blues
blues.
guitarist and singer? Okay.
Yes.
Man, he's 84.
Yeah. Still touring. Still got
Mm-hmm.
it too, though. He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
So it's fun. At
Nice.
this stage in his career too, the tickets are fairly cheap. So, it's not like he's playing the, what's it, the Patriots Stadium there, or Gillette Stadium. It's smaller venues and stuff. So, and
Mm-hmm.
again, it's a 10-minute walk from my house. So
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
What else we got?
You have a delivery coming, don't you?
I do. So how did this happen? You may recall a couple
Santa
months
Claus
ago.
is coming.
Not exactly, but close. You may recall a couple months ago, I switched from Verizon to AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall why, in general?
You were trying to save money.
I was trying to save money. And in the end, I ended up not actually saving money, but I
You got a little
got
more data?
more data and HBO Max
Yeah.
for essentially the same price, right? So my cell phone bills actually went up slightly, as I ended up taking my father's phone off my plan and set him up on a Ting mobile plan, a low use plan. It was not cost effective to try to have my Apple Watch as a standalone plan, because that essentially costs the basis of another full-on cell phone, plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up paying about $10 a month more for everything. But when you factor everything, and by that I mean like what I was paying for FiOS and
Mm-hmm.
what I was paying for my cell phone plan. Now, actually, that's not true. My FiOS plan, I managed to knock a little bit of money off of it, and they upped me from 300 megabits to 400 megabits. My cellular with Verizon was 10 gigabytes of data per month. With AT&T, it jumped up to 100 gig. plus 30 gigs of hotspot data, which now that I'm actually starting to leave the house once in a while is actually useful for my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they threw in HBO Max, which I had not bought before, but there's stuff on there, like there's some movies I like, so and some series that I do enjoy. So, okay, fine, I'll take those. Then I got a letter in the mail. Oh, well, first, before then, the transition to HBO to AT&T. I won't go into the details, but you may recall it sucked. It was painful, and they botched it heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had experienced something I had not experienced in years: dropped calls.
What?
AT&T, I'll be on the phone and blah 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 blah. Click, call failed. Just died, and I was just like, oh yeah, you know what? That has not been happening at Verizon. Huh. So I got a letter in the mail. Hey, switch to Verizon. Great promo for Verizon Fios customers. Save up to $20 off of your Fios bill. I was like, talk to me. So I looked at it and I gave the guys at Verizon a call. And they said, okay, well, for my Fios plan, it's only $15 a month off. But okay, so what I'm paying for Fios will go down by $15.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it. They said, well, we'll give you unlimited 5G,
Mm-hmm.
75 gigs of LTE, and 30 gigs of hotspot. No HBO Max, but they'll throw in Disney Plus Premium, which includes Hulu and ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
and Apple Music, both of which services I am currently paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, this actually makes sense. Oh, and by the way, trade in your iPhone 11 for a $700 credit.
Really?
$700 for my 1.5-year-old iPhone 11.
Huh.
And as I was on the phone with them, and they said, oh yeah, but there's also a $300 in rebates too. So I'm actually getting $1,000 to trade my phone, and that's why I have an iPhone 11 12 Pro Max on its way on a
Nice.
FedEx truck out for delivery as we speak.
Oh, nice.
That's the good news. Now,
You'd like to think that.
Let me tell you the bad news. Now, again, listener, I'm not going to go through how AT&T messed up my transition. It was bad. It wasn't this bad, though. Verizon managed to make it better. I was on the phone with them, and because I had only left within like the last 60 days, they had to send me back to the win-back team. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
salesperson I was on couldn't do it, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Miraculously, everything he quoted me was consistent with what I got when I was over to the win-back team. Because they sent me a quote. It's only the price. It doesn't include all of we'll include this and this and this and this, all those details that I wanted. They don't tell you that, they don't put that in writing. Thanks, guys. Finally get over to the win-back team, and the lady's saying, okay, well, do you have a Verizon SIM card? I'm like, no, actually I don't. Threw that away a couple months ago. Kind of wish I had kept it. Almost did. Didn't.
Yeah.
Tossed it. All right, fine, whatever. They're like, okay, well, what address should we send it to? Okay, and she asked me too, are you porting your numbers? I said, well, I want to port the number for my phone. She says, you also have an Apple Watch? I said, yes, I don't care about the phone number associated with that. It's not a standalone.
You can't call it.
Right. Well, you could, if you you can buy plans where you buy just full-on cell service for your watches.
Yeah. Okay.
But it costs as much as doing a full-on cell phone.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No.
I want to pay $10 a month for my phone, which you never pay $10 a month. You pay $20 a month for your Apple Watch. Again, lies, but hey, whatever. So I said, okay, yeah, I do not have a SIM card. So she's like, okay, you want to port your number over? Yes, I do. Do you have your PIN, your account number? Yes, I do. Okay, we've got it. Okay. All right. AT&T has accepted the port. I was like, okay, great.
Wow.
Great. Now, where do I send your SIM card? All right, here's my address. And okay, so I'm just going to read that back to you. Blah, blah, blah. Peter Nicolaitis, blah, blah, blah. Medford, Massachusetts. Beep, beep, beep. Call failed. You know what happened, right?
Yeah, they cut it off. You were on the number that they just ported. and,
Yep.
and how'd you call them back? On your Skype line?
Ring Central. At your suggestion, as you know, I have a Ring Central account for my business.
Yeah.
That was still working. But here's the thing. That evening was when my girlfriend was getting her new Tesla. And of course, I had insisted on me driving her there because,
Mm-hmm.
new Tesla, right? And the hospital was doing a big cutover for one of their cloud security stacks, which I manage.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing it starting at 4 p.m., end of day. Like an hour before this big thing, when I need to be on the road and available in case something goes wrong, I'm without a cell phone.
No cell phone. Awesome.
No cell phone, no hotspot, no nothing. Luckily, I was able to use her phone as a hotspot. So we tethered my phone to her phone. I'm on her hotspot and, just
Using
on
Ring
Slack.
Central app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So luckily everything was fine there. So, but I did find out just how bad it is, to not have a working cell phone. Like I generally switch things over to two-factor authentication to apps like Duo, Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, etc. And I forgot about that's going to be the most painful part because I'm going to have to switch that and reset, reconfigure the authenticator apps that I have on my
Yeah.
devices. I hate that. I always have a backup. That's why I have this Android phone here. This has all of my two-factor authentication codes, except for those which are configured still for SMS.
Text.
And there are some that I just never really cared about, like my Nest thermostat.
Mm-hmm.
Or frankly, FedEx updates, right? I
Mm-hmm.
have FedEx and USPS and UPS delivery notifications. Well, you can't get those via two-factor authenticator apps. Those come via SMS. So I've learned, so when that happened, that I didn't have a working cell phone, that night, my Nest thermostat app decided, it's a good time for you to re-authenticate. So now I have to, like, I'm upstairs on my third floor. I have to go all the way down to the living room to adjust the temperature.
Oh.
Okay, fine. I can't get real-time updates for my iPhone 12 Pro Max is because my iPhone Pro 12 Pro Max is getting the updates out on a truck somewhere. I tried to log into LinkedIn on my web browser. That's still configured to use SMS.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is getting really annoying. So the folks at Verizon said, oh, well, we'll ship you that SIM card. It'll be there in 3 to 5 days, and it's coming by postal mail. And I'm like, 3 to 5 business days. I'm not going to have this until next week sometime. And I don't want to be without, like, all weekend without the cell phone.
Couldn't you go to a Verizon store and them just plop in a
Yes,
SIM?
and I don't want to because it's going to be another hour of my life wasted sitting there trying to explain. Oh, who are you? Oh, do you have an account with us? Yes, you do. Oh, I don't see you. Can't set. No, I can't set up the account because you idiots make it so that you need to have a Verizon phone to set up your Verizon account. Well, guess what? I don't have the freaking phone. So that's the kind of calls that I've been having with them, trying to understand what's going on. But
Yeah.
I did call someone, and she definitely sounded like she was in your neck of the woods when I called. And she was very polite and very helpful. And she pointed out that I could get my iPhone 12 Pro Max in 2 days. So I said, do it. Of course, my order got held up for some reason, and they needed to verify my identity. So that added an extra day. But anyway, this is day 3 of 2. And the phone is out on a FedEx vehicle for delivery, finally.
Cheers. This is I think that you have one extra gray hair for every time that you've switched providers.
Yes. Yes. And I had to think, like, why am I doing this? In the end, getting $1,000 off of a phone, yeah, Not
Hmm.
bad. Do you remember the days when you used to sign a 2-year commitment for a phone and it was just included?
Yeah.
It was just free.
Yeah.
Now we pay for them and we're under contract. And the way they get you on this one is you're on there and it's a payment plan for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've got that set up for 24 months. Now, what's weird is that was how I got this very phone, the 11 that I have right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they let me pay it all off. They said, "Oh no, you're all paid off after it, like when I switched to AT&T. It was only like a year and a half or so." So I'm not
So let me
sure
let
how
me
that
ask you
happened.
this: if you may not know this, but we can certainly pretend like we do. Um, on my Verizon, I have 5 devices.
Hmm.
Well, uh, when I got my phone, my iPhone 12 Pro non-max, I signed up for it and did the 2-year payment plan
Yep.
because it was 0% APR.
Yep.
I can pay all of it now or all of it over 24 months. I'm like, well, cash flow, I don't have, $1,700 just to throw out right now. Let me get the
Zero
best
percent.
phone and 0%. I can't.
I see a
So,
FedEx truck just drove by.
did
I'm going to
he
need to run
stop?
downstairs and interrupt you, but keep going.
Okay. So, I wanted to upgrade my iPad, which is eligible for upgrade,
Yep.
but it's not eligible for payment plan. And I wonder, are you only allowed to have one device on payment plan?
Nope, because I had my father's iPhone 7 Plus also on a payment plan.
Huh. Well, then I guess I started a chat one time with Verizon and it
I'll be
never
back.
finished. All right.
Please excuse me. Sorry, listener. Got to run and get my new on. And we're back.
Now we're back. And you have a box. What would be awesome is if it was just like the cover or just the SIM card. Here's your SIM card.
Yeah,
Oh
that'd be
man.
awesome. It wouldn't. But so you might wonder, why did I get the iPhone? Why did I go for Pro and Max?
I thought it was Freudian.
No, no,
No.
it's not that.
Yeah.
I have just decided that I am ready for a larger phone,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some things that you can do. Oh, this is still Lightning cable. I thought they had switched over to
No, they
USB-C.
did not.
Huh.
The
Oh,
iPads, the
no,
iPads
it's
are
got
Lightning.
USB-C on the other end,
Mm-hmm.
but Lightning. Wait,
No, it's USB-C both ends.
no, it's Lightning on one, USB-C on the other.
Yeah, the Lightning goes to the charger.
No, Lightning goes into the phone.
Uh,
I just put it in there.
oh, well, mine still does the USB, the non the regular one, not the USB-C. Maybe the Max, because it's bigger, it's like the iPad. It takes more power.
Yeah, but you think that they would be able to do that from USB-C? I mean, I charge my laptop on USB-C.
Mm-hmm.
I thought these had a USB-C interface. I thought I was going to be done with Lightning cables for once and for all. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Didn't know. Well, today I learned.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Because I
all
thought
right.
the same thing. Because my iPad, my iPad 11 Pro, the first generation, it has the new cable. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
well, great. I'll get the new iPad 12 Pro
Yeah.
and it'll do the new cable too. No, two separate
Huh.
cables.
Interesting.
Wah, wah, wah.
Womp womp indeed. All right. Well, there you go.
They probably
So
saved a quarter of a penny by not upgrading.
yeah, I thought. I guess well, it goes to show I didn't really pay attention, to whether or not. Well, I
I did.
wasn't planning on buying an iPhone 12.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to wait till the 13 or 12S or whatever they call the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now I have it. So now we'll start the process of doing my upgrade, et cetera, et cetera. So no, I just wanted the larger phone, and it's not that much larger, but I have started to appreciate the difference in like screen size. It makes a difference, and you can do a little more
Yeah.
with it.
If you're gonna go mobile, like you said, you can do a little bit more,
Yep.
like traveling. You can do a little bit more. Like I'm gonna travel here soon, and I'm taking my iPad and my iPhone because if I want to read web stuff without pulling out my laptop, it's much more convenient and easy to do it on my iPad than it is on my phone.
Exactly. And like as these creep up closer and closer, like this is not a replacement for an iPad by any stretch, but I can already see just by looking at this screen, I'm going to be more comfortable reading like PDF documents and emails and stuff on this than I was on the smaller phone.
I think that's from your TMB.
My what?
Your TMB. Too many birthdays.
Too many birthdays. I was going to say, oh, right. TFO. TFO. Too many birthdays. Got it.
Yeah.
Hey, confirm your cell phone number and activate it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Look at that. It burns me up that I need to enter my social security number to. And the thing is, like, I generally don't give out my social security number anymore when
Hmm.
someone asks for it. But
Hmm.
when they already have it from previous engagements, you can't go back and change it now.
Yeah. You make
So,
up one?
yeah, I do. Just like the answers to password hints.
Yeah. I
What
don't.
was your first dog? Where did you go to school? What street did you grow up on? I never
Yeah.
get the real answers to those.
Yeah. I make them up and I keep them in my password safe. Who was your first best friend? I'm like, oh man, I don't know.
Apple Jacks.
Apple Jacks. Yeah.
So,
What was the name of your first dog? Coffee cup. I don't know.
coffee cup, Sparky.
All right.
All right. What else
Oh,
we got? Let's move on to your stuff.
well, I didn't. I mean, I just thought of a time. I was pontificating the. So I was. I mean, I read. I don't read a lot of news, but when I'm on my iPhone or if I'm doing something where I have just a second of time, I'll slide over to the Apple News and see what's over there. And I see a lot of quotes from people that I just don't care about what they have to say anyway. But then I'm also thinking about how when we were kids, we would have never heard from these people. The only famous people we heard from were the ultra famous, but now e- everybody's got a platform right now. But what I was thinking about is this person's talking, and I'm like, I don't care what they have to say or their opinion. But if once you are in a position where this guy was an NFL player, so who
Okay.
cares what an NFL player has to say? But people do. They do care what this NFL player has to say or whoever they are. And then now what they end up doing is like, I was like, it costs them their freedom because now they're being judged by everybody. And then they're being, negative things are being said to them, positive things are being said to them, and they know they're giving up their freedom for this, you know being famous. And that's just I mean, I have no interest in the entire world telling me how to respond or telling me my opinions are good or bad. you know because I mean, I of course, we all think that we never have any stupid thoughts or stupid things. Nothing stupid ever comes out of my mouth. That's false. I say stupid things, and there's times when I wish I could bring them back, and I have to apologize for them. And I'm sure a lot of famous people say some stupid things and wish they could take it back, but they never get the opportunity to take it back. All they ever hear is the, the can you believe he or she said that? And then,
Some do though, like some I agree. They often don't get an opportunity to take it back, but for a lot of people it doesn't matter.
mm-hmm,
I mean, Elon Musk has been saying some pretty stupid excrement
mm-hmm.
and he just gets away with it.
Yeah.
Our former president said some pretty stupid things, so
Yeah.
and they just get away with it. And the rules don't apply to some. For
Mm-hmm.
some they do, I don't know.
Yeah. I just think there's a cost to that because I thought even doing the podcast, you know, I watch and meter what I'm going to say
Same.
because I don't want businesses that I'm possibly trying to do business with.
Yep.
I don't want family members or church members or whatever, you know, hearing me talk about something that's very inappropriate. I mean, really, with me, really, you get what you get is what you get. The only thing that people would get out of me that they don't get out of me in general is I sometimes swear more than I do in public. When I'm at the farm working on something, if something doesn't go my way, there's some language. But I would
Tarnation.
tarnation, but there wouldn't be any language on the podcast or in the office or at home or around my daughter, but that's really the extent of my alter, non-public
Jumping
persona.
Jehoshaphat.
But still, you limit yourself by these public things. I mean, I even limit myself to where I don't just share every idea that comes out of my head, and shouldn't. uh because sometimes they're dumb.
A
I mean,
lot of
I'll
people do.
yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna test an idea, I usually bounce it off my wife, and she'll say, really?
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah. she,
Huh,
she does.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's a Southern belle, so she wouldn't say that's dumb.
Hmm.
She would say,
Really?
yeah. What about this? Huh. Now that you say that, yeah, forget about that. Just forget that.
Did you really think that through? Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yeah. Yeah. I got when my youngest daughter was born, she was quite a handful.
Hmm.
Just as a child, she was a very needy child. And I was playing a lot of golf before we got married. I mean, after we got married, and then before we had kids, I was playing a lot of golf. So I was still trying to play a lot of golf after we had kids. And one Saturday morning, I'm like, I'm gonna go play golf, and she said, "Well, you go have a good time playing golf. I'm raising your child."
Tiny modicum of guilt there.
Yeah, it wasn't long after that I quit playing golf. I don't play golf anymore still.
Oh, I was gonna say you could take your daughters golfing with you, couldn't you?
Well, and they've actually taken golf lessons and can play golf, but life just I've only got so much time.
Priorities.
Priorities. Yep.
Priorities.
Ah, so what are you? We've got a few more minutes. You're working on critical thinking. We're talking about being famous, having critical thoughts before you open your mouth. I mean,
There you go. Think before you act. And I think this is very related to phishing scams and work. You know, I've been working with two of the analysts that I manage for the hospital, trying to get them to, like think critically about things. And one of the things about critical thinking is it takes some time. You can't make an instantaneous decision
hmm
critically, right?
no.
And that's hard because we're all busy. You hear that mantra all the time. Everyone's busy today. Everyone has less time than they used to. Blah 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 blah. And I think that's often used as an excuse to do shoddy work.
hmm
Had the rep that I was talking with from Verizon thought critically about my predicament, I wouldn't be in my predicament. She would have not disconnected my service from AT&T until I had my new phone,
hmm
you know? So, but then again, maybe that's their standard procedure. Maybe, they want us to like, oh, the sooner we get him in, the sooner, like he's stuck. He can't go back now. Right.
hmm
I don't know. So, and if that's
Well,
the case, that's just unethical. So,
and I've been on cell phones with Verizon because that's all I've ever had is Verizon lately.
mhm.
And they're like, "Are you calling me on the phone that you're having trouble with?" Yes, I am. Can we? Typically, I'm not because I know that if I'm calling about that device, I'm not typically on it. They're like, "Okay, can you call us back on a different, or can we conference you in on a different number and drop this
Right.
one?"
Yep.
Yeah, good job, thanks.
Way to think ahead.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Like I need again. I was joining WebEx and Zoom. Well, not Zoom, just WebEx. WebEx had my phone numbers like memorized, and I would join a WebEx. It would immediately start calling my cell phone, and I wouldn't realize that until like people were hearing my voicemail on the other end. Like, son of a. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, all righty. Well, do we have anything else?
I think we can do a nifty, and I will kick it. I'll kick the plant nifty this week into next episode. And instead, my nifty for this week is represented by the T-shirt that I'm wearing,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, if you look at it, it says "super easy, barely an inconvenience." And this is the tagline, a catchphrase that a guy named Ryan George uses on his series called Pitch Meetings.
Mm-hmm.
This is my favorite new YouTube channel. And what it is a fictional pitch meeting in Hollywood for a new movie or a new TV show
Yeah.
or something like that. And I don't remember which one I saw first. It was probably a Marvel, Marvel movie thing. Like, so you got a new Avengers movie for me, and the guy plays both sides. So he's both the guy who's like the screenwriter and the producer,
Uh-huh.
and it's just hilarious because he'll go through like all these different scenarios, and this guy will have like. So I've got a new idea for a movie. It always starts out with like, so you got a new movie for me? Yes, sir, I do. And I thought that, we would do this. And he says all of these really absurd things. And it's funny, like sometimes the producer loves the idea, and sometimes he questions and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
he's got a number of canned lines that he uses in almost every episode, and even though
Mm-hmm.
you see them coming, you can start to see them come a mile away. They're hilarious.
Oh, here it comes. Yeah.
Right, so it's like he'll say stuff like oh, Lord of the Rings pitch meeting, Gandalf gets stuck on top of a tower, and he's like, wow, getting off of that tower sounds like it's going to be pretty tough for him to escape that tower. Actually, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Oh,
Barely.
really? Yeah. You see that this giant eagle is just going to come along and like rescue him, or like this moth is going to come along. He's going to whisper to this moth to go get a giant eagle. Wait, the moth talks to eagles? Yeah. Well, why does it do that? Because okay. So there's tons of lines like that. So I definitely recommend check out Pitch Meetings on Ryan George.
Mm-hmm.
They're all on YouTube. He's been doing them for years. They've generally just been getting better, and he's releasing, I think, about one a week or so. I watched the whole, and he'll do compilations of them too. So I watched the one for the Pirates of the Caribbean. And he does them like, number 1, 2, 3, 4, all in sequence. So you can watch them all back to back. And they're pretty freaking hilarious. And he did one that was a compilation of all the Avengers movies, all the Marvel movies. He does some for like an actor, like I get this new idea for an actor. Oh yeah, who is it? His name's Tom Cruise or something. And so anyway, definitely recommend them. They're usually like 5 minutes or so, five, and they're just pretty hilarious. They're totally, they're clean, safe for work, family, etc.
Sounds nifty.
Yeah, it's nifty.
It reminds me, you're talking about the Lord of the Rings ending. It reminds me of in the movie Austin Powers, when Scott tells Dr. Evil, he's like, why do we have this complex method of killing this guy? I've got a gun. Let's go in there. Let's shoot him together. Yeah, we'll shoot him in the head.
Yes.
Well, no, just like Gandalf. No, we're going to put Gandalf on the top of a tower.
Yes.
I will kill him later. No, you kill him right now. You don't talk to him. You just kill him.
Yep. The Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat movie that came out, he's done multiple Mortal Kombats. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I highly recommend it. Go watch one now, listeners. Let us know which one you like, and Adam, let me know which one you like.
All right.
On that note, I think it's time for you to take us out.
Yes. So, dear listener, we do want your feedback. If you would like to discuss a particular topic or discuss something that we've talked about, then you can drop us a line at www.blurringthelinespodcast.com, or you can contact us on our websites or on our Twitter at so website paradigmcc.com, yogawithpeter.com, friendswithbeer.com, and you can reach me at sublimecomp.com. And we look forward to speaking to you soon, right after we hit the
Big
big
red
red
button.
button.